In fact, just minutes after Nitish Kumar tendered his resignation to the governor of Bihar, Prime Minister Modi tweeting there saying that this is a big shot in the arm for the anti-corruption movement. So Prime Minister Modi endorsing the move there by Nitish Kumar by putting in this tweet. What is this now going to mean? Of course, big political development. What does this mean as far as the Congress party is concerned? What does this mean for the BJP? What does it mean for Prime Minister Modi? And what does it mean for 2019? That's the big question. How are the markets going to react to this big political development? Let's go across to Sanjay Dutt now for a quick reaction. Sanjay, thanks very much. Well, you know, perhaps this was coming, but we didn't expect that this would have broken it so quickly and in the manner in which it has happened with Nitish Kumar tendering in his resignation. What happens next is the big question mark, but purely from a market point of view, how do you see this going down?
I think markets would read it very positively. Of course, we are quite extended now. A much-needed correction is needed. We may have a snap pullback and then, we're back to normal. And otherwise, I think in conclusion for an investor, this is a very positive development because you're seeing a sea change in how Indian politicians have started to operate, the good politicians. And I think, at least my respect for someone like Nitish Kumar has gone up many notches higher. And the fact that immediately Prime Minister Modi, coming from a party, coming from an opposition party, tweeted what your reporter just mentioned. So, in my opinion, basically, I can only conclude that it's positive for the country. Fine, markets will lose
Sanjay,
400 points or whatever be the reason, but you need an excuse for a correction.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change anything as far as Indian fundamentals are concerned. Do they affect corporate earnings? Do they affect India reform? Do they affect anything? No, I don't think they do.
Yeah. I'll get to that in just a second, Sanjay, but you were talking about how you believe that this, in fact, enhances the premium, perhaps, the corporate governance premium or the governance premium. Let's forget corporate premium, but the governance premium that India seems to enjoy at this point in time. Do you think that this is going to be a significant boost to that parameter specifically?
Absolutely. It sets a new benchmark. In fact, what Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has gone and done, it actually sets a new benchmark for politicians, where you had a coalition with someone and there were allegations against your coalition partner, and the partner refused to kind of step down or whatever the confabulations were, and you chose that you don't want to support and you decided to step down yourselves. Therefore, actually, you set a new precedent of sorts. I think very rarely we would have seen something like this in Indian political history. So this is a very positive development, no doubt, from a foreign investor perspective or even a domestic investor perspective.
You're saying that this is a big positive both for FIIs as well as DIIs. But Sanjay, you were talking about reforms and you said that you don't necessarily believe that this development will change the needle significantly on the reform agenda. But perhaps, there might be another perspective there because if it indeed is going to be the JDU back in the NDA fold, so to speak, the question then is, does this bolster the odds of an even bigger victory? Of course, people are already assuming that it's going to be a victory for the NDA in 2019. Does it bolster an even bigger victory for the NDA in 2019? Does it even favor the Rajya Sabha arithmetic more in favor of the NDA? So from a reform perspective, how do you read this?
Shireen, I'm pretty clear. One, it's too early to actually take a call on 2019. Strange things happen in politics within 24 hours, within days, and you're right now many, many months away, so one doesn't know how the landscape pans out. But I'm at least clear on one thing. Till 2019, Prime Minister Modi is here to stay. Prime Minister Modi and his party are doing excellent, reforms, measures, whatever they are taking forth. Yes, some of them are painful. Some of them have not gotten the results. We can complain on jobs and a lot of other issues. But on balance, I think a lot of credit needs to be given for his decisiveness. And like you said, that if it does strengthen the BJP and we get a better victory, if I were to just kind of do, stargazing at this point of time, 2019 does appear better for the BJP as a coalition, along with many other parties who support them, NDA that is. But very early to say on how political equations will pan out. But at least for the next 2 years, there's no doubt about the fact that Prime Minister Modi and his team are committed to make India a better place in terms of development, in terms of corporate reform, in terms of everything that's happened, whether it's the GST, the way it's gone through. No one expected that 1st July it would be implemented. Yes, we can quibble about issues on ground, but I think that's the only way to actually aggressively push things through. We will have short-term problems, but 6-8 months down the line, it will be all normalized and everyone will absorb it, just like we saw in demonetization. We can, argue endlessly whether it was required or not required, but if you go down on the street and check today, consciously people are aware of the fact that they want to regularize their books, they want to do transactions above board. There has been a major change in the Indian mentality of doing business and doing transactions, and I think till that doesn't happen, we will not be able to reduce corruption, we will not be able to improve compliance. So all these things are not going to change, whether, a chief minister of Bihar or some other state or something resigns. The resolve that is there within the government here will continue the way it is continuing. And these steps are actually sending a little positive messages, what we got from Nitish Kumar today.
Sanjay, I don't want to bring this down to the level of what the market is likely to do tomorrow. But, if investors are watching this program and considering the fact that we closed above 10,000 for the first time today, what kind of momentum do you see adding to the markets just over the next, 2 or 3 days?
See, Shireen, we are in an uptrend. Uptrend and overbought markets do get stretched. We already may be on the higher end of the range. We may get further stretched, and normally both bear markets and extreme bull markets really test everyone to the extremes, So in this kind of situation, the last bear will probably get slaughtered, just like in extreme bear markets, the last bull gets slaughtered. So we may see an uptrend. But it's difficult to say how long will the momentum stay till we get a meaningful correction. But from an investor perspective, I repeat, none of these developments change my outlook on India in terms of earnings ahead, in terms of the interest rate environment, in terms of, savings moving to equities and other financial instruments from traditional, mediums. So if that is not going to change, I think more and more money is going to keep coming into the market from domestic as well as international flows. If that be the case, the momentum will carry on. May take a break, may pull back 300-400 points. Yes, it could happen any day because we need it. But fundamentally, nothing is changing by these developments. So I'm quite convinced that markets will continue their run-up with occasional pullbacks, the much-needed pullbacks.
Okay, just to refresh, for our viewers who might just be joining in, and Sanjay, I don't know if you managed to catch that or not, but here's Nitish Kumar talking about having tendered in his resignation right after he emerged from the governor's residence. Take a look.
हम तो विपक्षी एकता के पक्ष कर रहे हैं, लेकिन किस प्रकार की विपक्षी एकता? विपक्षी एकता का कोई एजेंडा होना चाहिए, मैं तो समझ सकता हूं। और एक पार्टी के नाते, एक व्यक्ति के नाते अगर हम लोगों की सोच है, क्या हम अपने सोच को प्रकट नहीं कर सकते? क्या नोटबंदी का प्रश्न हो या कोई भी प्रश्न हो, इसलिए मुझको कुल मिलाकर ऐसा लगा ये सोच का दायरा भी अलग है, न कोई अपना डिस्कोर्स है, न कोई अपना एजेंडा है, सिर्फ रिएक्टिव एजेंडा से कोई काम चलने वाला नहीं है। इसलिए हमने अपने अंतरात्मा की आवाज पर पूरी चीज को देखते हुए हमने समझा कि अब मेरे जैसे व्यक्ति के लिए इस सरकार का चलाना संभव नहीं है। इसलिए हमने यह तय किया कि भाई हम किसी के खिलाफ नहीं, कोई विवाद नहीं पैदा करना चाहते। अब चारों तरफ चर्चा हो रही थी, नहीं देगा इस्तीफा, डिस्मिस करेंगे, इसका कोई मतलब नहीं। हम उस तरह की राजनीति करते ही नहीं। हम कोई प्रकार के विवाद की राजनीति नहीं करते। हमने देख लिया कि अगर कोई अब रास्ता नहीं है
कयास में थे इस सरकार को खींचने के, किस कोशिश में थे कि किसी तरीके से सरकार चलती रहे। बहरहाल हुआ वही जैसा हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष ने कहा था, महज 20-21 महीने के भीतर ही ये सरकार बिहार में हमारी गिर गई। बहरहाल जब सरकार गिरती है कोई बहुत अच्छी बात नहीं होती है, क्योंकि एक मैंडेट मिलता है 5 साल के लिए, बट जिन भी परिस्थितियों में नीतीश जी ने इतना बड़ा कदम उठाया, मुझे लगता है कि अपने में दर्शाता है। हम लोग भी इस बात को कहते रहे कि लालू जी के साथ मिलकर काम करना असंभव है। हम लोग भी उनके साथ कुछ समय तक हम लोग केंद्र में हम लोगों ने काम किया उनके साथ, और उसी वक्त से हम लोग को इस बात का अंदाजा था कि लालू जी के साथ मिलकर, और खासतौर पे ऐसे लोगों का उनके साथ मिलकर काम करना असंभव है जो कहीं ना कहीं विकास की सोच रखते हैं, विकास की राह पर आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं। इसी बात का एहसास मुझे लगता है फाइनली अब हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी को भी हुआ, नीतीश जी को भी इस बात का एहसास हुआ, और मुझे लगता है कि तमाम इन परिस्थितियों को नजर रखते हुए ही उन्होंने इस्तीफा दिया।
Well, that is the LJP spokesperson, as well as Ramvilas Paswan's son, Chirag Paswan. Zafar Islam, spokesperson of the BJP, joins us. Zafar, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Big political development. We understand that the BJP's parliamentary board is meeting at this point in time. What should we expect now as the next steps are concerned?
Well, Shirin, as a development, I would say that will definitely will be examined by the senior leadership, and whatever decision they take, they will be definitely keeping in the interest of the people of Bihar and the interest of keeping the interest of the state of Bihar. I'm sure that call will be taken by the senior leadership. But the more important thing, which all of us should realize, it's not that why he has resigned. We must understand what forced him to resign. It is his commitment to fight against corruption, and something which Lalu Yadov and family has given ample opportunity that come clean, but none of them has come clean, and he was left with no option but to resign, purely because he has always stated that he will fight against corruption. He has followed the policy of zero tolerance against corruption, and more importantly, he had two options: either to compromise with his conscience and continue with the Chief Minister along with Mahagathbandhan party other leaders, or he responded to his conscience and resigned, because that is something which he should have done earlier also. But it is important for all of us to realize that his commitment to fight against corruption is something which is still there, and he has demonstrated it.
Zafar Islam, is it now a foregone conclusion that Nitish Kumar is going to be back in the NDA fold? Because, minutes after he exited the governor's residence and expressed his inability to continue and said that he had tendered in his resignation, we've seen the Prime Minister tweet saying that 125 crore Indians welcome Nitish Kumar's decision. So is it a foregone conclusion now that Nitish Kumar is going to be back in the NDA fold?
Well, Shirin, I won't commit or comment whether he would be part of NDA or whether he would join NDA or whether he will, whether BJP has any plan to join the government. This is something which will definitely be examined, because some development has taken place, and a big party like us
but the numbers,
will have to examine.
But the JDU,
I know the number,
but the JDU and your numbers combined, yeah.
The number definitely is definitely favor if BJP and JDU comes together. But that all has to be taken by the senior leadership, and it is not for us to comment on this whether they were definitely going ahead or whether not going ahead. That is something being debated, discussed, and I'm sure that a call will be taken by the senior leadership today or tomorrow.
Okay, you're saying a call will be taken by the senior leadership today or tomorrow. But Zafar Islam, we were talking to market experts because the markets are also going to be watching this development very, very closely. And one, of course, is that this could be seen as a vote for the India governance premium. But, how would you read it? I mean, you've also been doing a significant amount of outreach with investors, etc. How do you see investors reacting to this development?
So investors has always appreciated when any political party has stood against corruption. that is something which they have always appreciated, because we know the history what UP has done and what we have demonstrated last 3 years, something which has been appreciated by the global investors. And I'm sure that the market will definitely respond very positively, because Nitish Kumar ji has resigned not to align with any party, but to respond to a situation where he had to work with the leadership.
But would it really be fair to say, Zafar Islam, would it really be fair to say that he's done this not to align with a particular party? I mean, he's been your partner in the past now, and some would argue that perhaps he's also going which way the direction of the wind is blowing, at least as far as 2019 is concerned.
No, why do we say that? Even if you make that statement, is something which Nitish Kumar should speak. But let me tell you that our commitment to fight against corruption and our the policy of zero tolerance on corruption is something which is being demonstrated by us. And there is another political party whose leader, who happened to be Chief Minister of and part of Mahagathbandhan, also always has advocated of zero corruption policy, something which now it was for him to decide whether he want to be part of a Gathbandhan where Lalu Yadav and his family is deeply into corruption, and yet he wants to continue with their support, or he wants to just resign.
Zafar, just hang on for 1 second. Just 1 second. Sushil Modi is speaking very quickly. We'll listen into him and then I'll come back to you.
कांग्रेस ने कोई हस्तक्षेप नहीं किया, करने से इनकार कर दिया और उन्होंने इस्तीफा दिया है। तो एक बड़े मुद्दे को लेकर, एक करप्शन के मुद्दे को लेकर उन्होंने अपना इस्तीफा दिया है। हम इसका स्वागत करते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी मध्यावधि चुनाव के पक्ष में नहीं है। हम नहीं चाहते कि बिहार के अंदर कोई मिड टर्म इलेक्शन हो, कोई मध्यावधि चुनाव हो। लोगों ने 5 ये जो भी विधायक जीत कर आए हैं, ये विधायक 5 साल का कार्यकाल पूरा करें, और इसलिए हम मध्यावधि चुनाव के पक्ष में नहीं हैं। और तीसरी बात कि आज विधानमंडल दल की बैठक में श्री नित्यानंद राय, प्रदेश अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर प्रेम कुमार जो विपक्ष के नेता हैं, और मुझे इन 3 लोगों को अधिकृत किया गया है कि वो विधायकों को और पार्टी की राय जानकर केंद्रीय नेतृत्व को अवगत कराएंगे, और केंद्रीय नेतृत्व जो भी निर्णय करेगा उस निर्णय को क्रियान्वित करने का काम करेंगे। तो 3 लोगों की एक समिति गठित की गई है जो पार्टी, बिहार पार्टी और केंद्र के बीच सेतु का काम करेगी, और आगे की हमारी क्या स्ट्रेटजी होगी, क्या रणनीति होगी, इन सारी चीज़ों के बारे में ये 3 सदस्य समिति को निर्णय लेने के लिए और विधानमंडल दल ने अधिकृत किया है।
Is Sushil Modi. They're saying that a 3-member committee has been set up, and that this 3-member committee will liaise with the government, with the central leadership. But what is very important there, the statement coming in from Sushil Modi, not in favor of mid-term elections. Hum mid-term elections ke paksh mein nahi hai. Zafar Islam, that is a very clear indication of which way this is headed, is it not?
See, what my colleague Mr. Sushil Modi ji has said, that since all the MLAs have been elected for 5 years, and that definitely our endeavor would be to ensure that it should continue for 5 years and nobody should go for midterm polls. But as he also mentioned in the same breath, that the 3-member committee have been constituted to engage the senior leadership, discuss a debate and find and discuss the evolving situation and help the senior leadership to take a call what is more appropriate.
So what to your mind, and I'm asking you this, I know that the final decision will be taken by the BJP Parliamentary Board as well as by this 3-member committee that's been set up with Sushil Modi as a part of. But Zafar Islam, you know, for the benefit of our viewers who are watching, I mean, what could the options be? If Sushil Modi, they're very categorically saying, look, we don't want midterm elections. You do have the numbers if the JDU and the BJP combine hands together in the state, which is what it seems to be headed towards at this point in time. Then I would imagine that the deliberations are really going to be on the cast of characters.
See, Shireen, given the statistics and dynamics of the situation, you know that how the number stacks up and what the situation could be. And I'm sure that the senior leadership will examine which are the possible options. And possible options, you know what are the possible options under the circumstances. And all those options will be examined.
Yes.
And whatever important, keeping the interest of the people of state will be taken.
Right. Zafar, I'll ask you to just hold on. I've got two market veterans with us, Deepan Mehta as well as Prakash Diwan. They join us on the show now on how this political development is likely to impact market sentiment and market mood. Deepan, let me start by asking you, Nitish Kumar resigns as Chief Minister of Bihar. In all likelihood, it's going to be JDU, BJP combined, Nitish Kumar back in the NDA fold. What does it mean from a market point of view?
I think market will look at it very positively, and it is one more kind of, situation where the BJP just gets stronger, and any amount of political uncertainty does get removed with this aspect as well. So I think it's positive from that point of view. On a longer term basis, I think what is important is that the political class is realizing that they have to perform, and the public not tolerate any corruption or non-performance. And that, I think, is very positive from a long-term perspective of the economy of the country.
Yeah, Prakash, let me come to you as well. So I've been talking about this governance premium that India has enjoyed, and perhaps that's going to get bolstered on the back of this development. That seems to be the consensus here with the panel that we've been speaking to. Your thoughts?
So, Shireen, this is absolutely, I echo Deepan's sentiment. This is a validation of the new wave of higher accountability, transparency, and performance-based, merit-based leadership. Now, what it does is, for the market, it tells you that 2019 only gets, more and more visibly stronger. And if the GST is any example of how the federal system or the state's intervention and engagement is anything to go by, Bihar contributes or could potentially contribute a significant component to the Indian GDP. Like we've seen changes in UP go from 7% to looking at about 8-10% now. And the same thing would happen to Bihar. So, and it's got one of the biggest labor markets, and that's something which definitely needs to be sorted as well. So I think there are lots of benefits that Bihar could kind of get out of this and contribute to the national level economy. And I think the markets will definitely see it as positive from that perspective.
Okay, Deepan, let me come back to you with the point that Prakash was making there on what this means now as far as the long term is concerned. The assumption at this point in time, and in politics one must be very careful about making certain assumptions, but at this point in time the assumption is that it is going to be a romp to victory for the BJP come 2019, and with this development and Nitish Kumar possibly aligning back with the NDA, it improves the possibility of an even bigger majority for the BJP and the NDA, and also changes more favorably the Rajya Sabha arithmetic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, with the way the government has handled the GST, they have really, bit the bullet over there. And with more political stability, they may be more emboldened to take even more tougher steps and, go in for even further stronger reforms, which are much needed, I think. They've done reform on the indirect taxes front. There's work on the direct taxes front. There's work on the labor reforms. And there are so many other, important aspects of the economy which need attention and which need tough decisions to be taken. So with this kind of brute political majority and virtually complete absence of opposition, these tough measures may be taken up by the government.
Yeah. Zafar Islam, just respond to that point that our market participants are making here, that this brute political majority that the BJP and the NDA is likely to enjoy, given this political development, does this now give you the appetite to do even more when it comes to the kinds of reforms the markets are looking for?
Well, if you see, Shireen, our approach in last 3 years, that we have taken several steps and very difficult steps at inception, it always looked like. But we have, the market has given us thumbs up. The global community have felt that this is the only government which can deliver. Like we have delivered GST, likewise we have delivered many important legislation in the last 3 years. And going forward, all I can say, if you, as somebody who also see the market and the political situation. I think that it will be seen very positively by the market participants, purely because it's very positive from the governance point of view, and the fight against corruption is something which has always been our priorities and preference, and that is something our hand is getting strengthened by another political party which has also had a stated objective of fighting against corruption, and that is something which will be liked by the people of this country, and it will definitely Bihar. It will help to shape the better future for the people of Bihar, and the state of Bihar will definitely be biggest beneficiary of this development. And at this juncture, I won't comment anything about our association, whether we would want to be part of the government, not part of the government, because that is something which will be examined by the senior leadership. But
I know you're constrained. I know you're constrained by that.
Away from this,
Zafar, hang in there. We've got more market voices coming in, Zafar. So please hang in there. Deven Choksi also joins us. Deven, appreciate you joining us. We're all talking about, of course, a big political development, but also a big development as far as the markets and the larger reform agenda is concerned. Given the fact that now the BJP and the NDA find themselves in an even stronger position, and the opposition finds itself in an even weaker position. Your first thoughts?
Yeah, Shireen, good evening. Well, I think the very positive signal it is coming out to be from the political side, and globally also the people have been wanting to see opposition not creating disruption in the country, because the economic reform process this government has accelerated are something which the global investors have been accepting it and liking it. And with this particular equation now happening again in favor of the present government, wherein they may end up supporting the Nitish Kumar government from outside, which could possibly mean that they would have a larger ability to carry out the reform process in the country. So it's a very positive signal, though I do agree that I think earnings won't get looked up immediately, but the fact is that I think structurally this is more positive sentiment which is emerging out of this particular development.
Absolutely, structurally more positive sentiment. Devin and other market participants, just hang in there. I've got Narendra Taneja, the spokesperson of the BJP of the Energy Cell, joining us. Mr. Taneja, many thanks for joining us. As we await a final decision by the BJP's parliamentary board, as well as that three-member committee that's been set up, which Sushil Modi is a part of, there are various permutations and combinations that are being spoken of. For instance, is it a possibility that Nitish Kumar will actually move to the centre and get a berth in Delhi and even a cabinet portfolio, perhaps? That's a question mark at this point in time. Sushil Modi himself, will he be slated as the next chief of the government in Bihar? These are all questions at this point in time, largely speculation. But Mr. Taneja, your first reaction?
Well, honestly, Shireen, I would not like to speculate, because right now, as we talk, the meeting is going on, and at the same time, what is important for BJP to see that the people of Bihar are firmly into the development fold. And we have all know the damage that, Mahagathbandhan, so-called Mahagathbandhan has done to the people of Bihar, to the whole development narrative of Bihar, which we and Nitish Kumar, launched together, and also Lalu Yadav has become a kind of the biggest icon as far as the scandal, scam and fraud and black money and all those binamis, etc. are concerned. So there are 2 points I want to make. Number one is this Mahagathbandhan thing is finished, is over. There is nothing like Mahagathbandhan. And the second thing is that, that the people of Bihar, as expressed by by Mr. Nitish Kumar, they want development. And they also know that Mr. Nitish Kumar, together with our party, probably can deliver that. If you can read between the lines, he basically talked more about development, about street and infrastructure and all that than anything else. So he has basically brought development right at the center of the whole narrative. So this is the narrative he wants to follow, and for us, this has been our narrative for years now. So I think and at the same time, we have known him for a long time. We worked together. He has worked with us. So we have to wait and see. But my own sense at this stage is
that probably there is going to be a government which is going to focus more on development. I don't think the people of Bihar really want election at this stage, and at the same time we want to increase our footprint, because Bihar is crucial for us as far as eastern part of India is concerned, and more than that, we want to deliver development to the people of Bihar and also beyond that to people of Bengal. So I think this becomes a very interesting development. And this will become a kind of.
So I want to underline the fact that Narendra Taneja, so the next target is going to be the state of West Bengal. As far as the BJP is concerned, now that you've managed to wrest the state of Bihar from the Mahagathbandhan, you're saying the next goal is going to be the state of Bengal. But you know, we've just heard from Sushil Modi, and he's very categorically stated that midterm elections is not something that they would like to go in for. So which basically means that it is going to be a combination of the JDU as well as the BJP. Nitish Kumar back in the NDA, and I would imagine the deliberations currently are on the permutations and combinations of the cast of characters. So how high would you rate the possibility or the odds or the chances of Nitish actually being part of the centre?
Well, 2 points here, very quick points. Number one is that we have to wait for Mr. Nitish Kumar and his party.
Just 1 second, Mr. Taneja, Lalu Prasad Yadav speaking.
जब डाइवोर्स हुआ था नीतीश कुमार का बीजेपी से, शादी खींचा खींची सब हुआ था, तो उसमें नीतीश कुमार ने कहा था कि हम मिट्टी में मिल जाएंगे लेकिन भाजपा से हाथ नहीं मिलाएंगे, संघ मुक्त भारत बनाना चाहते हैं, और विकल्प की बात की थी कि नेशनल मैप पर सब लोगों को इकट्ठा होकर हम लोग को भाजपा को हटाने के लिए तैयारी रहनी चाहिए। नीतीश जी का स्टैंड और भर्सन है पहले से। मैंने रात को भी आप नीतीश जी से बात किया था कि भाई आप और हम कहीं कोई गलतफहमी है तो उसको बैठ मिल करके हम लोग तय करो क्या करना है। तरुण से डिप्टी सीएम से भी नीतीश कुमार 40 मिनट तक बात किए, और मैंने कहा आज भी आप लोगों को कि उन्होंने कोई इस्तीफा नहीं मांगा था। हाँ, ये जरूर कहा था कि पब्लिक डोमेन के लिए जो आरोप लगा है उसको आप लोग प्रेस के माध्यम से बता दीजिएगा, कोई हड़बड़ी नहीं है। नीतीश जी ने ये कहा था, सुन रहे होंगे अगर सुनते होंगे तो हम लोगों ने रात को भी कहा, परसों भी कहा कि पब्लिक डोमेन में केस के मामले में बहुत सारी त्रुटियां हैं, केस एकदम बिल्कुल फर्जी है। ये बताने से पूरा जो एजेंसियां है उसको मरम्मत कर देगी। वकीलों ने राय दिया है कि आप लोगों को प्रेस में नहीं बोलना है। इस सब चीजों का सफाई हम लोग पहले दे चुके हैं। बेनामी तो ये तो वो सब, वो तो समय पर। और हमने ये जरूर कहा कि बिहार के जो जदयू के प्रवक्ता हैं, बिहार जदयू सीबीआई नहीं है, ये पुलिस नहीं है, आपके यहाँ कोई अपराध नहीं किया है तरुण। जो भी कहना होगा वो पब्लिक डोमेन में तो कहेंगे ही बाद में, हम रैली में जो भी कहना होगा, जो अथॉरिटी है, जो एजेंसी है, कोई सवाल पूछेगा, जानना चाहेगा तो वहाँ कहेंगे। आप पुलिस थाना नहीं है कि सफाई दीजिए। सफाई दी हमने कायदे से बता दिया था। इनके सब प्रवक्ता भी लगातार वही बोलते रहते। आज भी नीतीश जी ने बोला है इस्तीफा के बाद। तो समूचा सेट था ये मामला, और विधानमंडल ने कहा कि भाई हम अपना नेता, हमारा कोई कसूर नहीं किया, हम क्यों इस्तीफा दिलाएंगे। खुद वे बोले कि हमने इस्तीफा मांगा भी नहीं था, तो हम लोग क्या गलती कहा। ये पूरा सेट है। और वहां भी नीतीश कुमार को मालूम हो गया था कि जाली और फ्रिंजी ग्राउंड पर महत्वपूर्ण बात को देखो कि हम इस्तीफा मांग रहे हैं तेजस्वी से। नीतीश कुमार 302 के मुद्दाले हैं। नीतीश कुमार 302 के मुद्दाले हैं और उनको ये बात मालूम हो गई कि हिंदुस्तान का एक चीफ मिनिस्टर मर्डर केस का, आर्म्स एक्ट का अव्वल मुद्दाले है और उसके खिलाफ संज्ञान लिया जा चुका है। तेजस्वी पर तो कहीं कुछ बात का अता पता भी नहीं है। ये केस का है ये पूरा। कोई भी आदमी वो केस जो है पंडारक थाना कांड संख्या 199 दिनांक 16/11/91 नागरिक का वोट में सीताराम सिंह, धारा है 147, 148, 149, 302, 307 आईपीसी एवं आर्म्स एक्ट 27 ये सेक्शन है ये नीतीश कुमार जी के ऊपर। इसमें सजा है आजीवन कारावास नहीं तो फांसी। बात सुनो, इसको हम लोग बहुत शुरू से जानते थे लेकिन हमने उचित नहीं समझा था। ये है दिनांक 31/8/2009 लोअर कोर्ट नहीं सुनेगा नहीं लोग, मतलब नहीं इनको। संज्ञान भी हो चुका है नीतीश कुमार पर। हाँ, कंग्रेजेंस पूरी जिम्मेवारी के साथ मैं बोल रहा हूँ, रिकॉर्ड और दस्तावेज के आधार पर। 31/8/2009 जी बाढ़ न्यायालय ने कंप्लेन केस में 41/C-209 में कॉग्निजेंस लिया 2009 में। और मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं, नीतीश कुमार जी एमएलसी का जो इलेक्शन कमीशन में जो डिक्लेरेशन दिए हैं, निकालिए लाओ जी, है वहाँ जो डिक्लेरेशन दिए हैं उसमें भी इन्होंने स्वीकार किया। फिर आप मुख्यमंत्री कैसे बैठे थे? कौन सा जीरो टॉलरेंस, कौन सी ईमानदारी भाई? ईमानदारी भ्रष्टाचार से बड़ा है अत्याचार। भ्रष्टाचार का तथाकथित आरोप से बड़ा है अत्याचार और एक नागरिक, एक वोटर की हत्या। अव्वल मुद्दाले नीतीश कुमार हैं। क्या है? हाँ, शपथ पूर्व शपथ पर बोले हैं यहाँ। इस शपथ पर बोले हैं आईपीसी की धारा बाद में मैं आप लोग को दे दूंगा क्योंकि हम हड़बड़ी में हैं। 307 आईपीसी की धारा में 302
उन पर चल रहा है।
इलेक्शन कमीशन में जो डिक्लेयर किया वो
एफिडेविट में उन्होंने कुछ कहा है।
एफिडेविट में उन्होंने कहा है कि 302 और 307 हमारे ऊपर मुकदमा चल रहा है। ये एडमिटेड है। जीरो टॉलरेंस वाले मुख्यमंत्री मेरे छोटे भाई का ये है। और हाई कोर्ट में लोग आए थे, क्लियर हो जाएगा। सीमा अली माननीय जज थी, देख कर गए, तो वहाँ उन्होंने पंडारक थाना के जूनियर जो नीचे के जज है रंजन जी, जिन्होंने सब इशू किया था, प्रोसेस रिकॉर्ड समूचा गवाही वगैरह लेकर के सब पब्लिक कंप्लेंट से लेकर सब मुद्दई के भाई के लेकर, तो उन्होंने बड़ी एड़ी चोटी करके ये नीतीश कुमार प्रोसीडिंग को स्टे करवा दिए नीचे। आप लोग ढूंढते हो, बहुत टीवी वाले हो, ये कागजात देखो, प्रोसीडिंग स्टे हो गया और उस जज को प्रताड़ित किया गया और उससे बराबर शो कौज की भाई काहे तुम आगे चला रहा। यह केस पटना हाई कोर्ट में जीवित है, तारीख पड़ता है, चेकअप नहीं होता है। ऑनरेबल जस्टिस त्रिपाठी जी के कोर्ट में ये है। तो नीतीश को ये मालूम हो गया था कि अब हम बचने वाले नहीं हैं, तो इन्होंने अपना इस्तीफा का, क्योंकि तुरंत ये बात तेजस्वी को अगर कहते इस्तीफा का तो ये सवाल उठता और देश भर में ये बात जाता। ये मिले हुए हैं भाजपा से, आरएसएस से, क्या सेटिंग है। देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी वहीं से तुरंत ट्वीट कर दिए, नीतीश कुमार को बधाई दे दिए। और अभी नीतीश से कोई पत्रकार मनीष पूछा वहां राजभवन के बाहर कि बीजेपी से समर्थन आप लीजिएगा सरकार पुनः बनाने के लिए, तो नीतीश कुमार जी ने ना नहीं कहा, मैंने वो कार्ड खोल दिए, खुद खोल दिए, उनका बयान पढ़िए कि राज्य के हित में जो जरूरी होगा उसको हम देखेंगे। ये देखे हुए हैं, सेट है सब बात, वो देखेंगे। तो हमारा ज्यादा उनको छेड़छाड़ करना नहीं चाहते हैं। आपने इस्तीफा दे दिया, हमको बहुत दुख हुआ। जाने के पहले आपने हमको प्रणाम किया, कहा कि आपका आशीर्वाद बहुत रहा है। हमने मना किया, आज भी फिर मना किया, ये काम मत करो। 5 साल के लिए जनता ने भेजा है गठबंधन के लिए, सांप्रदायिक ताकत हम लोग को समाप्त करना चाहता है, ये क्यों कर रहे हो। बोले कि हमसे अब नहीं चलेगा, तो नहीं चलेगा। तो अभी 20 महीना हुआ, 1/3 बाकी है, 2/3 सरकार चलाने के लिए। तो नीतीश कुमार से मेरा ये अपील है कि आपके मन में सांप्रदायिक ताकतों का आशीर्वाद अगर नहीं है तो आप इस्तीफा कर दिए, स्वतंत्र सब मंत्री खत्म हो गया, बाजार ओवर हो गया। तो अब जो है सो आप चलाने के लायक नहीं रहे, आपका अपना रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन कर रहे हैं, अपना कुर्ता और साफ करना चाहते हैं। तो सब आरजेडी के एमएलए और समूचा जेडीयू के एमएलए और कांग्रेस के एमएलए बैठ के नया नेता चुने, नया नेता चुन के नई सरकार आप बनाइए। लेकिन हमको संदेह है, क्योंकि आपका सौदा हो चुका है। बिहार की जनता से मैं को आगाह करना चाहता हूं कि आपके इच्छाओं को बराबर इन्होंने दरकिनारा किया। बीजेपी को हरा के आए थे, इन्होंने बीजेपी को वोट दिया राष्ट्रपति में, नोटबंदी में किया, फिर भी हम लोगों ने जस्टिफाइड किया। तो ये पूरा हम मांग करते हैं, हम राष्ट्रपति शासन में राज को ढकेलना नहीं चाहते हैं। आप राष्ट्रपति शासन में ढकेलना चाहते हैं, और नहीं तो आप बीजेपी से आपका साठगांठ है, आप सरकार बनाना चाहते हैं। कल बैठाइए सब, कल नहीं परसों तरसों बैठाइए सब एमएलए को, जेडीयू के एमएलए और आरजेडी के एमएलए, कांग्रेस का ना आप रहिए न तेजस्वी रहेगा, नया कोई भी मुख्यमंत्री का उम्मीदवार बने, वो चुना जाए, हम लोग बैठ के चुने। लार्जेस्ट पार्टी हमारी है, अब हमारा क्लेम बनता है, लेकिन बैठिए और बिहार की जनता का जो मैंडेट है 5 साल का, उसको पूरा करिए, लागू करिए। इन लोगों को गोद में नहीं खेलिए, आप खेल रहे हैं गोद में, और उससे सफाई देना है तो आप जो हमारा प्रस्ताव है उसको करिए, सरकार को चलाइए, नया नेता मुख्यमंत्री चुन के और सब 3 दल से। ऐसा झूठ है तो आप बताइए, क्योंकि इसमें आजीवन कारावास का सजा का प्रावधान है, लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट, माने टिल डेथ जेल में मर जाना है, और नहीं तो फांसी। इसलिए इनको बहुत बड़ी घबराहट हुई कि ये बात निकल गया।
Well, the game may not be up just yet as far as the RJD is concerned. That's Lalu Prasad Yadav saying that, look, we have the numbers and we're not in favor of midterm elections either. We were voted to power for 5 years and we're not, let the elected representatives come together and decide the future course of action. No governor's rule. That's the message they're coming in from Lalu Prasad Yadav, also making it clear that he believes that this has been deliberate and a planned orchestration. Let's go across to experts who join us now. Alistair Newton, co-founder of Alavan Business Advisory, with us, a big foreign investor into India. Alistair, thanks very much for joining us. How would you read this big political development? It looks like this is going to further bolster the political dominance that the BJP and the NDA enjoy. We'll go back to Alistair in just a second, but let me quickly get in a word from Deepan. Deepan, you heard what Lalu Prasad Yadav had to say. A quick word on the comments.
Expected, when 2 parties are breaking up like this, 2 coalition partners, there's always going to be a little bit of bad blood. But, the interesting thought that comes to my mind is I think, the political class is now trying to prove who's more clean in terms of governance, in terms of transparency. And they're competing against each other, yes. And that is really a welcome change. And you've been around for a very long time. You've seen the kind of, mess the political yes. thing was in. And you're seeing in front of your eyes it getting cleansed day after day.
Yes, absolutely. Narendra Taneja, Lalu Prasad Yadav there also saying that, look, we're not giving up just yet. What do you make of that?
This is kind of expected after this kind of divorce. I think he's already talking like an opposition leader, and he's all dreams kind of with regard to his children and the dynasty, are completely shattered. So I can understand the frustration of the person, but I think important thing is that what Mr. Nitish Kumar said and what the people of the Bihar want. Mr. Nitish Kumar said it's very clear that he is not going to be partner with anybody or anyone who is kind of into corruption or who is kind of, has got that kind of perception in the mind of the people. So I think the narrative, just wait for some time, 24 hours, narrative is going to be only one, and that is who can deliver on development. And the message from Mr. Nitish Kumar is very clear. Message from BJP is also very clear. And I personally think the people of Bihar, they don't want another election. They don't, and if Mr. Lalu Yadav tries to impose election there by resigning seats or something of that kind of drama, I don't think he'll get support from the people of Bihar on that as well.
Okay. Alistair Newton with us. Alistair, many thanks. How would you read this big political development? Many are saying that this further bolsters the dominance of the BJP as well as the NDA. What would that mean from an India point of view, from a market and an investment point of view?
I certainly think that anything which is seen as a positive for the current Modi administration and for the prospective Narendra Modi will be read as a positive by investors. They like Modi. They are a bit disappointed by what the government has been able to deliver to date, even though we've obviously had a bit of a breakthrough with the important issue of GST recently. But they will be hoping now that we're going to see the Modi administration able to pump up the economy a bit by fiscal stimulus. The economy is already outperforming most emerging markets, and that the BJP is set pretty fair for a second term. So I think you're going to see both long-term investors, foreign direct investment, portfolio investment, and indeed shorter-term smile favourably upon India's prospects in anticipation of not just another 2 years of Narendra Modi, but probably another 7 years.
You're absolutely right that this is not going to be a bet on 2019, but it's going to be a bet post-2019 as well. But from a foreign fund flow perspective, Alistair, given where the Indian stock markets are, and albeit this perhaps may bolster the government's appetite for more reforms, the kinds of reforms that the market is looking for, but do you believe that foreign liquidity is going to continue even at these valuations?
Well, I think that's probably going to be the case, at least for the time being, because if we look around the world, there is very little sign of major central banks beginning to tighten seriously. We have, of course, seen some tightening in the US, but let's look at the way in which US tech stocks have been performing recently. Clearly, US portfolio managers are betting on the fact that the Fed is certainly not going to go more than one more 25 basis point rate rise this year. No sign of the ECB really looking to tighten, even if Mario Draghi's hint that they may start to cut back on bond buying does actually get implemented this year. And of course, the IMF has come out and warned that the ECB should not start to tighten too quickly. As for the Bank of Japan, well, who knows when they're going to start tightening, but not in the foreseeable future. So lots of loose money around, lots of liquidity, lots of opportunities to borrow cheap and invest with a good return.
So, Alistair, how much more momentum do you see for our markets, given the fact that we're already at that 10,000 milestone as far as the Nifty is concerned? And while some can argue about whether the valuations are justified or not, what kind of an upside do you see, given the political context and these recent political developments, just in the near term for our markets?
Well, I think essentially markets will probably not take more than a few moments' notice of what's going on in Bihar at the moment. They'll look at it, they'll say it's positive, it's reinforcing present trends, and overall, sentiment will remain much as it has been on the upside of positive. I'm not going to start predicting how far the stock.
Well, we've got you on a patchy line, Alistair, but many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. That's Alistair Newton, veteran market investor, talking about what these political developments could mean for our markets. But Dipin, a final word from you before I let you go. Already 10,000, a new closing high as far as the Nifty is concerned. How do you expect the markets to open on the back of this move?
I think maybe a bit of a gap up, and also we're entering into an important event. The RBI policy also will be watched quite closely, and if there's an interest rate cut over there, then I think we'll be hopefully firmly in the 10,000 territory for a long period of time.
Okay. Narendra Taneja, before I let you go, a final say from you on, what we can now expect really from what all of this means as far as reforms are concerned in terms of the development agenda and what the government's priorities are likely to be.
Well, the first thing is that, with Nitish Kumar and his party coming back to the NDA fold, that means, we get further strengthened in Rajya Sabha, which helps us, as you know, when it comes to pushing through the major bills. Second thing is our cooperation talks with Nepal, with our own government in Bihar, or hopefully our own government in Patna, we will have, probably be able to move further, more firmly in the direction of some projects with Nepal, particularly in the hydropower sector. And second, and the other thing is very important, Bihar politically, economically, very, very important. The political message to investors, both domestic and international investors, is going to be very strong, because Bihar is a huge population, second most after Uttar Pradesh, and whatever happens, Bihar has a great impact on Bengal and beyond Bengal in Orissa and Northeast.
Okay, so that's what is on the agenda now as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned. Narendra Taneja, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Well, that is the big breaking story that we've been tracking for the past few hours. Nitish Kumar tenders in his resignation as the Chief Minister of Bihar. Parliamentary board of the BJP is currently meeting. There is a three-member committee that's been set up to liaise with the central leadership here in Delhi to arrive at what could be the best possible solution. A midterm election on all accounts seems to be ruled out, and it is likely to be Nitish back in the NDA fold. They've done that before. They worked together in the past. Is it going to be a continuation of what once was? That is the big question. We haven't